So we'll just start a little bit of stretching. Just bringing the foot slightly forward. Just stretch all the way up as far as you can. All the way to the back. Bending the front knee. And just coming back forward, breathing in. And just alternate the leg. Stretching, opening back. And then coming forward. One more time. Okay, putting the book into the back, kind of just wider than shoulder width. Just going to bend up from the pelvis, bend down from the pelvis, and then start to bring the arms over the back of the head. Stretching through the backs of the knees if you can. And then release it. Nice breath out. Okay, one more time. Good. Okay, to the sides, I'm just going to stretch up with the arms and just curl over the spine. And come back. Keep the same way, so just come back to the neutral and then just go over again. Good. Okay, then change sides. So over to the left. Good. Okay, with the arms up, you're going to take the right arm to the left foot. Just stretch up forward. This way. Just curling the spine. Good. Come back up. Good. Again. One last time each side. And then nice big circles. So similar move, just bringing this all through a circle. Also the back, see if you can really go back through the shoulders as well. So really open the shoulders up at the back. Swing down one direction. Really open the arms at the back. And changing direction. Good. Okay, just for the toes, you're going to come up onto the toes. Stretch the arms up, breathing in, and then you're going to come down to a full squat as you can. Bringing the ankles to the bum. You're going to stretch up. Yeah. Staying on the toes, coming down. Stretching up. Stretching down. Good. Okay, just coming out with the feet. Come train tracks. You can keep the heel down. Keep the back heel down and just start to stretch into the front foot. Start to bend the front knee. Good, the other side. Good. And changing sides, just going to go down into a lunge. So bring in the back heel off the ground and stretch into the back leg. Good, changing sides. Good. Okay, bring the knee all the way to the ground. Sweat. Just going to stretch, rock the body forward, really into the hip. Take it off, stretch back a little bit, and then just rock back forwards into it. Rock back, rock forward. Good. And then changing sides. Pressing the hips forward. Stretch it off. Stretch on. Back. Forward. Good. Okay, just coming up. Legs slightly wide. You can straighten them again from the knees. Just creep the arms down to the ground with the bucket. Stretch all the way. You can see you can get the elbows to the ground. Good. Just very slowly. Start to bring the feet together. And just pressing up to standing. Good. Just shaking the body out. Just in the hips. Shaking the legs out. Good. Okie dokie. Good. Just start here. So with the shoulder width apart. Just going to find the back. Really big, clear move. All the way down. So all the way to the back. All the way into the ground. Big arcing movements through the body. Yeah, that's it. Okay, good. See, in this case, if you can make a really clear the connection between the hands, the sword and the hands and the center. So one thing I can do in this case is, try and show it, like this, and then I kind of bend from this part, from the chest, and do this kind of movement. So it's as if the sword is linked to the chest. So in order to reach the ground, because to be flexible, I kind of bend this part. And this part kind of moves. But in this case, I really need to feel that the connections with the center here in the hands. So feel that when you actually the movement comes here. Really try and feel this connection right with the center of the body and not kind of in the arms and the chest. So just feel whether you're connecting into this part, the front, or into the center. So there's 2 points really important, and they're right at this point. When I raise the sword here, this point, and when I lower it. So just play, if you like, with this connection. The sword's in the ground, play just with raising and lowering it. And what I want is the center directly to this. It's like the center directly affects the hands. So as if there's no kind of in between. There's no kind of shoulders, no kind of hip, no shoulders, no arms. It's like the hands and the center work just together. So this kind of effect's kind of immediate. Just play with this and lower it. Actually means I don't do anything with the hand. So I'm just connecting them, and then they just go. So they just move kind of automatically through the center work. So just play with that. Really feel that the spine, the shoulders and the arms are not interfering. As if there's no real blockage between the connection. And then just start to really increase the movement. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Nice. Good. Nice. Yeah. Good. So just do the same now in a posture. So right side forward. You can also play with the left later, but just bring the sword in and then swing it down. Bring the sword in, swing it down. Really have the feeling that from the center, the body's going to kind of hinge. It's going to kind of bend from this part. In this case, see if you can really try and avoid this, where the shoulders kind of feel, have the sense that the spine elongates from the hip and the pelvis is open. So you've got this kind of sense. So again, just play with kind of small moves. This way. Just connect. Watch for that. To the point where the arms, the chest try to take over. Just feel the connections here. That's it. Yeah. Oh, this t-shirt's kind of annoying. That's it. That's it. Yeah. Good. Just try the left side too if you've not. Just really with the body. Really working on the connection between the center and the hand. Good. 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 Good, good, good. Okay, you can go back to right or left. In this case, just work with the grip. So what you're going to do is the same thing. You don't really focus on a cut, but you're just going to focus on a focusing of the hands and the center. So again, really play with the center work's going to go. Hello. And then you're going to press, focus into the hands. And at the same time, the center's going to focus as well. So you've got to kind of double focus through the body. It's what center region, the hands, these kind of go bump, bump. They kind of light up. In a way, it's not tightening, it's like lighting up. And this happens from the center. So just work with right and left, just small moves and really focusing. So there's really a sense of finality this way, as if you're kind of placing it into the ground. This way. So connect it into the ground, focusing with the center, focusing with the arm. Just increase the movement as you feel. Working with a horizontal. This way. That's it. That's it. Ah, nice. That's it. Nice. Ah, okay. So see, especially here, see if you can really get into this feeling like the hands and the center moving, really working together. What I want to do is not interfere with the movement. So the shoulders and the body in these kind of positions, they always want to kind of dominate and kind of add to the movement. So the work is like trying to find an arc through the cut. How do I locate the arc? And then how do I link that arc into the center? And then how do I really do the cut in a way where I'm not interfering through that arc? And I just allow the arc to happen and then focus into it. Focus into it. And then the moment I go into pushing movements, or pulling movements, or contracted movements, this will disturb the arc. And what I want is a kind of pure arc that runs through the body. So just go to a kind of full movement now and really see, or really feel that the moments where you start to kind of, yeah, if I lock into the shoulders, or I lock into the front of the body, or even in the back of the body. In this case, doing things like this, pressing into the back of the body. Just have the sense you're going to follow the arc. It's like riding a wave, and then you've got to find the right point to focus. But it's really got to have a sense that it's connecting into the center. I can do all the right things, and I can just be connecting to the upper body. But what I need to do is get a sense that the center's activating the movement all the time. So just get a feel for that. Go to a full cut, left or right side. A really full cutting motion. That's it. Yeah. Great. That's it. Yeah. Great. Nice. Nice. Great. Okay, good. Can you all see this? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, good. So in the dojo, what I've got is, you know, Tamranuchi practice. Tamranuchi means striking practice. It means like forging practice. This comes from on a side sensei practice when with our sensei they would bound all the 6 bundles of branches together and just go out into the forest in Iwama and just slam these branches for hours and hours. And then in a case of and then later they modified it to do with a moto tire. You can hit those. Actually, it's best to you can explore with soft objects. The best thing you can use is a big yoga ball. These big inflatable yoga balls. Tie it to a chair and then hit this. This really gives you good feedback. It's not a hard tanrin, but it's a kind of soft tanrin. Now, in effect, when you do this kind of movements, the tendency is to kind of hit into the thing and do this kind of work. Now, if I hit the object, the ball can percusses off it, and then you get a kind of feedback like this. So you get a kind of bounce. But what I want to do in this case, what we're really looking at now is this feeling of centering the cut and grounding it into it. So without a feeling of pushing down, what I want is the sense of cutting into it this way. So I want the sense of the weight of the body pressing into it this way. So there's a feeling of this. And what I'm feeling is not cutting the surface, but cutting through to the center of the object. This is best with the yoga ball because you can really feel that I cut into the center point of the yoga ball. Now it's the same with a ball or a back roller or a car tire or a human being. When I hit them, I want to press all my weight into the center of the body. So my impact is going to go straight through the body. So in this case, really have the sense that when you squeeze and press, the feeling is the arms in the center pressing into the center point of the body. So I want to get away from hitting the object, and I want to get into compression. So it's the feeling that if I hit the person in the head, I'm going to compress the head all the way down into the center of the body. So that's my kind of image. Like in these cartoons you have in the 1950s, that you get hit in the head and the head goes into the body. So it's that kind of sense. You want to have a feeling of all the way through this arc of compression. So the same kind of compression you get in the lower body, I'm going to kind of create that pressure also in the arms and in the cut, so you really have a sense of pressure down through it without tension. That's the key. So I can also do that. That's why the tenrin works kind of so bad, because I go into hitting and I get these kind of shoulders, this kind of shoulder work, and it just builds muscle in the arms, but it doesn't build any kind of quality of feeling. So really have a sense of this now. Compression down. Yeah, and if you've got anything like a yoga ball or anything really, you can practice like a soft tanrin practice. And you can use it just for feedback. That's it. Good. That's good. Okay, now just practice any kind of Shomanuchi cut that you can think of. So in essence, you've got the basic Ichino Suburi, you've got Zengo Giri, so moving and rotating. This you've got like number 4. Actually, you've got like number 2. 1, 2, 3, 4 Suburi. You've got all those Zengo Giri, so stepping and cutting, and just move with the Shomanuchi. The other one you've got is just directly from the front foot and cutting down. But just really focus on any kind of Shomanuchi work, and really now, because the body's moving, try and really create a rhythm in the body where you're going again, center work, hand work, and really try and make a kind of impact through the ground this way. So really feel like you're cutting into the ground with the shomanuchi, and then release it. Play with any kind of shomanuchi you like, rotating, cutting this way, cutting this way. Obviously, the more complex the footwork, the harder it is to find that kind of structure, that kind of organization. So kind of challenge yourself a little bit with the footwork. Try and really unite center work, hand work, sword work. That's nice. Good. Okay, and when you're working on shomanuchi work, this is, I think, one of the few times Saito Sensei would advise you like using a mirror for training. Otherwise, they would kind of cover this. There was a mirror in the old dojo, and otherwise, I think it would be covered. But in terms of shomanuchi work, you would really have people practicing in a way to practice the shomanuchi so that you get a kind of really straight line through the cut. And in essence, what you want to do with the shomanuchi, see, this is off. In essence, what you want to do with the shomanuchi is keep a very straight line. Actually, you can do it with a computer screen. It's quite good. What you want is to avoid any kind of distortion in the form, where the sword's kind of kinking it up and out. What I want to do is create a really clear, pure line through the center work, the handwork, and through the bokken, through the tip of the sword. So when you're doing the shomanuchi work, the only real way you can study that is with a mirror, with a computer screen, because if you're in these kind of positions here, I can't really judge it. So really just get a sense of when you make the shomanuchi, try and practice as pure and straight a cut as possible. Pure is better than straight. Pure, like a kind of really clean cut. And then that's the basis from which you change. So if you have a very clear, stable baseline shomanuchi through the center of the body, you can then easily adapt that. But if all the time my shomanuchi is off, then I don't have a really clear baseline for it. So just practice a few more and just really use what you have. You can cut into your own computer screen and just really get a sense that the cut is straight through the body. You can also play with the footwork position, but really just get a feel that the center and the tip of the sword through the handwork is one line. Really roll through the body this way. Roll through the body this way. And again, try and do less. Don't kind of interfere with that line. Establish the center line and then just arc through it. That's it. Huh, good, 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 good. That's it. Rolling, good. That's it, great. Nice. Mm. Good. Good. Okay, nice. So we're looking now into a Yokomanuchi. So just start very basic. You're actually going to do the same side. Again, really find the back, establish the back, and then you're going to arc through that and open the hip out. So in this case, you're going to really find the back, find a kind of straight position, center the cut, and then open the back hip out. So you're going to go here and then arc out through the cut this way. So the cut is now through the hip work. This is a Shomanuchi, following really the center line of the body, and then I'm going to spiral the hip, spiral the back hip. So really just play kind of loosely here. And again, what I want to feel is the direct connection between the center work and the hand work. So again, anything in the arms will start to distort that kind of pure cut. So just have the sense that the cut is working still through the center, but I'm just spiraling, coiling through the hip this way. Yeah, just feel that kind of connection. You can also do as we did at the start, just coiling small movements with the hips and the hands. Actually, this is a good exercise. You can go kind of straight here. So the raise is straight, and then I curl the hip. The raise is straight, and I curl it. Curl it. Do you see the effect the hip has just on the tip of the sword? And I don't do anything with the arm. So it's not about the arm work this way. Really just the hips. So you can play with that. Raising straight, and then arcing diagonally down. Yeah, that's it. Nice. So again, go really small in this case, and the small and slower I go, the more I feel my impulses through the body, or the more I feel how my body's working against what I'm trying to do. And in this case, especially the hands. So the hands will try and do this. So this is just hands doing this. And as I make the cut, my mind goes, I need to make a diagonal. So I change the hands. I change the hands. And the slower I go, the more I can feel that the hands want to do that. And the slower I go, the more I can feel that, the more I can tell the hands, no, don't do it. So in this case, you've got to tell the hands, don't do it. Don't do it. And I've just got to do it from the hip. So really feel when the hands try and take over. The slower I go, the more I feel it. The hands just start to do it. And then what I've got to do is tell the hands to be quiet. Listen to the center and just follow. And the hands really just connect. Just really feel that. So tell the hands no. Don't do it. Just find it. And then once you've got a feel for that, just start to increase the movement. The hands just following the hip. It's as if the hands act as a kind of fulcrum between your center and the tip of the sword. and they need to be kind of connected and stable. But obviously their arms, everything's mobile, so there's always a tendency they'll try and disturb the movement, but don't let them. Yeah, that's it. That's it, that's it. Nice. That's it. Nice, 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 nice. Good. Okay, good. And even though the cut's at an angle, it doesn't mean I deliver my power at an angle. So if this kind of makes it, I'll try and show this. This is easier to show with a ball. When I make the cut, I don't deliver the power at an angle. So this is not in a kind of way like this kind of cut. So this kind of cut. But in a sense, I'm still delivering my power down into the ground through the center. So when I'm delivering power, I'm delivering the angle. The angle of the cut is at a diagonal, but my delivery of force is through the center of the object. So this is actually easier to show with a ball. When you do a shomanuchi, can you see the lines? You see the line?
Yeah.
When you do a shomanuchi, you deliver the force clearly through the vertical, through the center. Boom, straight into the center line. Now, when you deliver a yokomenuchi, I deliver it at an angle, but I'm still working to the center of the object. But I'm not doing, if I work at an angle with force, it does this. It just bounces off, so it rebounds. What I need to do is deliver the force. I deliver it at an angle, but I deliver it to the center. So the angles, it's angled cut to the center, to the center. So whether I deliver force through a shomanuchi to the center, yokomenuchi to the center, whatever you do, a slashing movement is to the center. So it's always going to be working to the center and never working off these kind of points. So this is just a basic of how to deliver force, and this is the same with any kind of striking, atemi, sword work, jo work. I deliver the force right to the center of the person, but I never deliver force at an angle. This will always create kind of bouncing movement. We'll just kind of skim off the person like a skipping stone. And what I want to do is really kind of penetrate through, boom, and through into it. Now this is obviously clearer with the shomanuchi, delivering weight down through the center, and a little bit more distorted, but clear, also clear with the yokomenuchi. Really delivering the force down into the center. Down into the center. So see if you can kind of access that and try and avoid cutting these kind of angles where I'm actually off the body. If I'm off my body, I'll be also probably be off the person's body. So if I'm in these kind of positions, I can't really deliver force through this. I can deliver force, but it's minimal. The effect will be minimal. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. 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 And again, just play with any kind of yokomenuchi. So in this case, it really just involves really moving the feet. So you've got, in this case, actually play with forwards, backwards movements. So cutting forwards and also cutting backwards. So the cut's the same. I'm just moving the body backwards, coil it back this way. So really play with front, backwards movements. Once you've really clearly established this kind of dynamic, start to come off to the sides. And then you can start to really rotate through it. Just really play with the yokomenuchi move. So Yeah, good. Nice. Mhm. Good.
Michael,
Yeah.
you know there is this Komitachi 5,
Yes.
I think. I think so, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Or something 5, number 5 anyway.
Sounds good.
The attacker comes, your Komichi left, right, and
Yeah.
we defend.
Yeah.
Normally, the original is always kill, 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 right? Kill in the center, kill in the center. But to make it logical, we start block, 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 kill, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So when we block, so this sword has to be the attacker's shoulder.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Shoulder.
so when we block, then we have to change this, right? Because we have to be, because now we cannot keep it in the center. It should be a little bit to the side.
Yeah. Yeah. This is the good question.
You are okay.
Yeah. This is also there's also a different functionality between impacting something and blocking something. So receiving force and delivering force are two different things. So they require a different dynamic in a sense. Now when I'm impacting or making a striking movement, all my focus is just on striking straight through the thing. In terms of receiving, I'm working on actually receiving impact. So to deliver impact and receive it are two different functions, but they're built on the same dynamic in a sense. I just in the case of blocking movements, I'm interfering with that person's ability to deliver impact. So what I need to do is meet their sword or meet the thing that they're impacting me with and divert it.
Okay.
But what I do is do that by diverting it through my center this way. But what I'm doing is disrupting their ability to create the impact. So before they've got through the center work and press, the cut's been diverted out this way. So what I'm trying to do in the case of blocking is create a diversion for that person's impact, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I think the confusion of the off attacks here, because it's almost exactly the same start, but with the different end, kill and block.
Yeah.
And maybe because we train that, I don't know if everybody, but we do block, block, kill. So maybe it's kind of ruining our attacks as well, because it starts the same but ends differently.
When we do go no ase, so go no ase is the basic blend against number 5 going back. This isn't a block. When I practice this, is not a block. So when
you kill normally,
it's straight to the center. So when they come back, I'm cutting through the person. So I'm moving back and cutting. But this is not a block.
Yeah, normally it's originally kill, but to continue and to make it logical, we block, and kill, because when you kill, it's dead, you know, like.
This is why when you do go no ase, you work at a distance. So I'm working at a distance, but I'm cutting to the center line. But I'm not cutting as a block in go no ase.
Originally, yes, but when we train, we sometimes do 2 of them. Sometimes kill, and sometimes block, kill.
For the basic exercise, this is done as a cut through.
Yeah.
Listen. In preparation for the kumitachi, practice as a block. So sometimes we'll train it like as the go no ase, the original exercise, which is a cutting through the center each time. And then if we're going to go into kumitachi, we'll work into it where it's a block to the side of the body. And then that's so the person can continue through that way. But yeah, it's important, that the go no ase in a basic form is always practiced on as a yokomen cut to the center line. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Good. Good. That's Oh, okay, good. So the other vector we practice all the time in the Saburi is the ski, which is a kind of horizontal vector. But what we'll practice with the sword, because it's a kind of different one, is a horizontal movement. So this is like a slashing movement. So in this case, just from the right foot or the left foot, it doesn't really matter. You're just gonna slide out to the side and slice out to this way. Yeah, you can do this in both directions. So from the front foot or the back foot, just have the feeling of sliding out and slicing through. This is totally the same as like a katatadori, this first movement you make with the ika, or this movement that you make in sometimes in marotadori, this way. So this in a sense is slashing, slashing, slashing. You can actually do a lot of kind of slashing. So just explore first kind of side to side. I'm just going to take the front foot out to the side, slash, slash, this way.
Michael,
Yeah.
do you put your feet together at the end of the slide?
No, in this
Slide?
case, in this one, just come out to the side and then this way. Come into
Yeah, not
yeah.
not
In this
close
case,
together.
don't do this kind of movement.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah, okay.
That's also one of the kind of slicing movements we do sometimes in the kumitachis. But
Yeah.
in this case, just focus on a movement sliding
Just
out.
open and wide.
Just that way. So you're kind of staying in a kind of hammy.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Just play with it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Good. Good. Okay, so we're not so used to doing the slicing movements. In this case, I want to still just keep the same kind of theory. So creating an arc through the body and aligning the center and the handwork to it. So in this case, just play with really rolling the movement out. What I'm looking for is a really clear arc through the body. So it comes out from the body this way. This way. So it's a really clean movement back and forth. What I don't want to do is pull it and then press it out. Pull it, press it out. Pull it, press it out. I just want to walk through the body this way. This way. So just really don't think about yet making an impact. Just think about slicing through as if there's thing you want to cut in front of you. So you're gonna kind of slice, draw the sword through it. Draw the sword through it. And again, really feel the connection, the center and the hip. So again, you can start small, the center and the hands. Just really start to bring the arc of the sword work from the body work. Slicing it out. So really trying to locate this horizontal arc. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Nice. Nice. That's it. Okay, again, and then again, the same kind of thing when you deliver the impact from it. Can you see that line? Yeah, that straight line. When you deliver the impact, you want it to be straight through the center. So you want the feeling of passing all the way through the center point of the object that you're striking. Now, in the case of this slash, this horizontal slash here is directed to the center of the person, to the stomach, sometimes to the solar plexus, but mostly kind of to here. And this is a flat area. So what I'm looking to do is deliver the force through a flat plane this way. And what I want to avoid in this case is any kind of movement this way, where I'm twisting the arc. And again, in this case, this is where you get these kind of these bouncing movements, but kind of shave off the person. But I want a feeling of slicing straight through them, like this line through the shirt. You're gonna slice all the way through that. Now that changes depending on my target. So there's sometimes you use this slice for the armpits, this way. Now in that case, I'm going to deliver the force up this way, through the center. Sometimes this is used for the back of the leg or for the thigh, and in that case, I'm going to deliver the force so that it's aligned to the thigh. So I'm gonna change the angle of the cut depending on my target. And what I want again is to deliver my force or my impact through a straight line. This way. So it's easier to feel here with the horizontal. Again, a really kind of pure cutting motion. Just like the Shomanuchi, but now on a horizontal plane. And just again, start to bring the feet into it and start to now have a feeling of really impacting through the body. Impacting through the body. Yeah.
So Michael,
yeah.
This means in this case, it is absolutely clear that we are working not with a bokken. In this case, we are working with a katana.
Actually, you can do both. In this case, it's clear. It's a clearer movement from the katana work, like a kind of slicing movement. But in the case of the bokken work, I do the same kind of movement, impacting through the person. But the films, I'm going to make contact with the bokken, impact into the body, and then follow through it. So in this case, it's a sense of I'm going to make the impact here, and then I'm going to continue through the movement that way. That makes sense. In the case of the katana, you can really do these kind of slicing, like a kind of really clear slicing movement. And then what you do with the bokken in this case is kind of impact into the body and then press the weight of the body through it. So have the kind of imagination, it's like it comes here and then presses straight into the body this way. But built on the same kind of dynamic, just with a slightly different emphasis. Yeah, that's it.
Michael?
Yeah.
Just one thing.
Sure.
When I do this side cut, if I end up in Hamni, I feel unbalanced. So if I'm in this position, for example, then I put the cut, then I feel like ending like this instead of like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Because otherwise I feel a little unstable.
Yeah, actually, this is where we're going to go next. Just the last view. So in that case, what you're going to do, if you imagine like an ikkyo, this position, is I adjust the hammy. Now my hammy faces this way. So when I slice out, my hammy is actually faced this way, but not faced out. So I don't go out this way.
Okay.
So if you imagine that the kind of the target's actually here, what I do is slice this way, and my center is actually still aligned to my target or my partner. So in this case, slice out with the center of this way.
It's more like Joe standing?
A little bit, yeah, it's a bit deeper. Yeah. So also, this is also because when you make the Joe work, I'm dealing with the horizontal pressure forward, And in the sense, it's very similar here. The movement's arcing away from the body this way in a horizontal way. So I need a slightly wider stance to accommodate that, because the force is not being delivered down into the ground. It's been delivered out. So in that case, I need a slightly wider hammy that way.
Okay, thanks.
Good. Okay, last few minutes. Now do this with a step. So you're going to basically slice out and then carry the body through with it. So this is obviously more difficult. Have the feeling of moving here at this point as the foot would land. This is where I'm kind of making the impact here with the body. And what I'm going to do is follow through with the rest of the body through it. So just have the feeling of passing weight through the feet. You're going to here, imagine you make the impact here and then just press through with the foot. You can really do this any way you like. Just have the feeling of impact, pressing through the cut. Impact, pressing through. Pressing through. Yeah, that's it, that's it, that's it. Nice. Okay, so just have it, in this case, really watch the footwork. So when you do this, what I don't want to do is kind of do this all together, where the slice and the footwork comes kind of in the same kind of place. This means the sword's pulling me. So it's kind of pulling me through the movement. What I want to do is really ground the movement in the body this way and then press the body through it this way. So in a sense, what I'm doing is pressing into it, and then the body, it's as if here, pressing through it this way. But I don't want to do the whole movement this way, like this. This is where the sword's skipping ahead of me. So I want to really feel that I'm behind the sword this way. Deliver impact and then press through it. So deliver the impact, press through the sword. Deliver the impact, hand center, press through. This way. Good. And then the last 30 seconds, really, you can just play with any kind of cut. So shomens, yokomens, slices, just play with anything. Just kind of start to link them together. Just focus on the clear kind of vectors, diagonal, horizontal, vertical. Nice. Great. Okay, good. Nice. So this is really like working from very simplistic vertical, diagonal, horizontal movements. And then you basically use this to expand that. Of course, when you're working with an object like a ball, it's very clear. You strike down into the center all the time. When you're working with a complicated human being, this is where the angles get very different. So this is where you later then, you have a clear baseline cutting motions, and then you learn to adapt them against the kind of living thing, moving living thing. Okay, good. We'll stop. Domo, arigato gozaimasu.
Domo, arigatou gozaimasu.
Great. Cool, thanks for that.